range of products, of standard products, and in 2011 also the structures for ground mounting. This is a summary of the possible solution. For example, for Albanian market, we are studying along with Aeroelectra and their technicians supports that can be suitable to Albanian applications. In fact, every country has different type of roofs and different types of structures required. Just to mention, northern Italy, from Turin to Padua, so only 400 kilometers, we can find 20 types of different tiles on the roofs. So we must be, we can suit every request. Why to choose a certified structures? Structure usually don't take a lot in care by the installer, because it has a little impact on the value, on the total value of the plant. But in case of poor design or failure of the structures, the impact is not so little. So the reason to certify structures is to reduce the impact of loads bring by the structures to the existing roof and to existing structures, to make the installation faster. We know that manpower for installing a plant is one of the main factor on the cost of the structures and the plant itself. We can give warranty that the structures are sufficient for the active loads, and also something that is not always understood is that by designing the structures, we can find the best cost-effective solution. I give you only a brief summary on the input data that is important when designing a structure, especially for solar mounting. The most important is the active load, wind, snow, thermal, and sand, that can affect a lot the weight and the type of profiles used for the structures. The characteristics of existing structures, that is always underestimated or sometimes estimated by the installers, but it is important to visit the roof or the field where the structures are installed before the installation. We found that a client of ours, for an example, ordered structure for fretted sheet, that is the steel sheet that you can see there. But when he goes to the roof, he found that it was a plain roof, and so he lost a lot of times. Field tests that are important to define the characteristics of the roof. In this case. In this case, it was for Ferrari factory. We tried the mechanical anchor to assure the resistance required. And this one, it was in the UK. We tried the piles for ground mounting structures. Other important factor is the modus, dimensions, and placement. For an example, with new panels like some power 2 meters, longer than the standard, we need to study particular structures. The tilt angle that varies along the country or by the design of the plant, and the environmental aggressiveness that can be important for industrial areas or coastal areas. The structure can face particularly and aggressive corrosion in this environment, so we need particularly cover like anodizing the aluminium or galvanizing the steel. The design law is performed according to the relevant codes in the country of installations. Those are Eurocodes, national annexes. There is no European codes specific for solar mounting, so we need to take into account these codes that are too much on the safe side sometimes. We produce installation manuals, the report of the field test, and other technical reports like structural or geological and geotechnical report for ground mounting structures. We perform numerical analysis like FEM models or CFD models. This is specific for plants with ballasts and concrete ballasts to reduce the weight of the ballast. For standard structures, we give the installer load tables to define by himself the weight of the ballast in standard conditions. An example of installation manuals. This is for fretted and curved sheet. That is an example of what could happen if poor design if design is not taken too much into account. In this example, the heavy load of snow caused the structures to fail and to move all along these directions. So when first of all the structures broke the roof windows, and then about a third of the modules burned out, and the part of the structures went down on the street near this factory. So the problems could be avoided by using 50 euros of aluminium to brace behind the structures. In this case, the cost of the repair is far more higher. In this case, the installer decided to define the weight of the ballast by himself, and he placed the modules along the edge of the roof, so some went away with the wind and broke some panels. As I told you, these errors lead to waste of money, and moreover they can give damage to person, and also waste of money, possible loss for clients, and lawsuits. As I told you before, structures not taken into account too much, but because they are not so expensive, but they can have a large impact in case of problems or in case of failure. After that, I would like only to give you a brief and faster overview of our structures. Then you can find me at our lecture both for the complete range and for other information. We have standard structure for ties and curved ties, brackets or tapping screws. That you can find an example of tapping screws. For fretted sheets, there you have a more comprehensive range. The triangles in aluminium that can be fixed directly to the roof or fixed by concrete and precast ballasts. The new trend of the market, however, are this kind of support that contain an aluminium bar to which the modules can be directly fixed. That is some of our articles that you can find the single and multiple rows, and that's a detail of the fixing of clamps to the aluminium bars. Behind there is also an EPDM sheet to prevent the ballast to damage the covering of the roof. The same example of before, this with the take into account for in this case the wind loads of Italy. And that's some examples of our realizations. That is a fast and more economic way to install structures and modules on the flat roof. Consider that it costs around an half or at least 30 or 40% less than standard solution with aluminium triangles. That is an example of this is a 300 kilowatt plant in Italy. And that's these are some examples of our customized structures that remain part of our production. And I would like to remind you that we have a large technical department, all composed by engineer. I'm a structural engineer. There is a mechanical engineer, so we can give you always the best solution and certified solution. This is a multi-row aluminum structure for flat roof. Some details of rail fixings and ballasts. This is in Sicily or in Liguria. These are a particular solution for roof that we call collaborative. Every row is connected through the base through continuous aluminum bases. These allow to reduce the weight of the ballast and to distribute the weight all around the roof. Some details, and that's an example of a 1 megawatt plant in Sicily. Some years ago in Romania we installed the largest plant for that time on a commercial roof. In Oradea it's 3.5 megawatts, all made with this type of structures. Another example of the same. Other customized structures for walls, for shading, or just to install the modules where there are no free spaces for modules, or if the installer does not intend to make holes on the roof. Multiple rows. This is a part for ground mounting structures that is instead in galvanized aluminium. They are made of the best materials that can be cost effective and used for this type of installation. We have all certificates for materials, for the steel profiles, for boltery, and you have certification according to CA 3.1. We have the marking CA for all the components, and also all the process are followed by declaration of conformity according to European standards, particularly galvanizing or steel profiling. That's an example. This is a structure with piles driven into the soil by an hammering machine. These are tests that are made on field, like I told you before, to define the best length of piles into the soil. We make both compression tests and tension tests, and also horizontal tests. These are in Romania. These tests were in 2013. We were the company to produce the largest number of structures for 70 megawatts. These are some standards that we consider for design, and the Euro codes for steel structures, and particularly to cold form steel structures. This is another example. This is for foundations. This is used for small plants where hammering machine, the rental of hammering machine is too high for the entire plant. Another line of products are carports that are always customized, because every customer or client has his specification. This is a 1 megawatt plant. Some details of steel structure and concrete bases. These are other customized solution for industrial roofs. These are curved profiles for a particular resolution of 2.5 megawatt plant in Tuscany. It was really engaging for the technical department because we made some samples and tried on site and went to the supplier to find the correct radius of curvature, of bending. Another solution for an ocean commercial shop in Sicily. This is a typical type of roofs for commercial or industrial roofs with curved fretted sheets and Y-shaped beams. We find this solution to not drill the beam in this area that can be washed by water, by rainwater, but in this area that has already been drilled and that is covered by the sheet. Some details and photos. Another solution is on walls, parallel to the walls. In this case, in steel. It has been used on the MSC headquarters in Genoa. We covered this structure that is the cover of the lifts from 30 meters to 100 meters in front of the port. So there were problems of environment aggressiveness and also of the huge wind loads from sea. That is the aluminium structures before the installation of the panels. A cooled structure, 1 megawatt in Padua. Another, this is an east-west solution ballasted on an industrial roof. In that case, there were other particular installation like this one on concrete domes. Thank you for your attention. I will be available for you at our lectable. Thank you.
Nëse do mundesha për këtë pjesën e strukturave është shumë më e komplikuar nga që mund të nduket e pjesa e impaktit e parë, tek arsyet pse pam gjithë ato lloj këndësh sepse në varësi të sipërfaqes që kemi në dispozicion për instalimin e impjantit fotovoltaik dhe jo vetëm, po edhe në varësi të kilovatëve, sasisë së energjisë që unë kam nevojë për të instaluar, shpesh kombinohen solucione të ndryshme, edhe pse në dukje jo shumë prodhuese nga ana e energjisë, por më mirë të kesh pak se sa zero dhe kjo afrohet nga pjesa e prodhuesve të strukturave që të japin të gjitha opsionet e mundshme që unë të arrit të shfrytëzoj në maksimum sipërfaqen dhe në siguri sipërfaqen time për prodhimin e sa më shumë energjie të mundshme. Instalimi i një impjanti, edhe pse nduke jo prodhim fotovoltaik më të madh në fund të vitit arrit të kursej apo të prodhoj më shumë energji apo të kursej më shumë lek. Okej, fjalën doja lija është një teknologji të themi që është zhvilluar ndër vite, që teknologjia e mikroinvertave, që siç e thash pak më parë, bashkon një inverter fotovoltaik dhe një optimizator të SolarEdge-it në një emër tjetër quhet mikroinverter, i cili i vendosur direkt në panel konverton energjinë në energji të altë në rrymë të alternueshme por të përdorur direkt në shtëpitë tona pa pasur nevojë për komponente të tjera.
Hello, my name is Wojciech Waśniak. I'm the country manager for Home Power Electronics. I'm responsible for Poland, Eastern Europe, also the Balkans and Turkey. So I will do my best not to bore you. and tell you something about, because earlier you heard about string inverters, something about central inverters, also about the optimizing solution with SolarEdge. And now we will discuss, and I will tell you something about our microinverters. First of all, I would like to also to thank Mr. Cekrezi and Euroelectra company for having me here and giving the opportunity to say something about our products and about our company. When it comes to our company, we are Chinese fully based company, and I'm not afraid to say that. We were established in 2008 as a national key power electronics R&D team at one of the biggest university in China. Then we joined the Hankai Group. And I will refer to the thing that was said before. There were many situations in Europe with not reliable Chinese companies. But the thing was, like, the main problem was that they were financially unstable. When it comes to our company, we are a part of Hankai Group. So they gave us the financial support, and they also gave us the industrial support. We have over 200,000 square meters of factory, over 2,000 employees. We got 3 officially listed company in our group, and we, as a company, will be listed next year because we start the proper processes. But before that, as I was saying, we started in 2008. Our brand, Holmeis, was established in 2012 and 2015. We received #1 place when it comes to CEC weighted efficiency. As a company, we also we are a group of top 20 inverter company in 2017. Now I think it will be even top 10 in China, and not only. As a company, we are active, and we have distributors and offices. When it comes to offices, it's less, but when it comes to distributors and sales, we are in more than 51 countries right now, including Mexico, Brazil, Canada, USA, Netherlands, Portugal, Poland, Italy, and of course Albania in a few days. And when it comes to our headquarters, as I told you before, is in China, in Hangzhou. Our R&D team, this is something special about our company, because as I told you before, we started our operations as an R&D team at the university. So that tells you that we take a lot of care about technical side of our products. We were established by 3 postdoctors. We have also 10 doctors and 25 masters in our team. We develop talent cultivation, technical cooperation with the Zhejiang University. We got patents, we got official programs, and so on. When it comes to certification, of course, we got all the certificates needed in China. We got also European certificates. We got 10 national patents, software copyrights, and SCE and EI papers. These are the CE certificates. We got LVD, VDE. So this is everything that you need to work in Europe, and also we got certificates for Australia, Israel, USA, and the last one is China and Brazil. This is the thing that I mentioned already. So in 2015, we became world's #1 CEC weighted efficiency, 96.5% for microinverters. So we are #1 in the whole world for our competition, Enphase, ABB, and the others. Products. We got 3 major products. The first one is a single unit. Single unit is dedicated for 1 PV module, and it goes in 250 or 300 watts. The second one, this is 2-in-1 with the single MPPT on each side. So you know what opportunities that creates, and it goes in 500, 600, and 700 watts. And the last but not least is our latest product, and this is MI1000 and MI1200. This is data transfer unit. You need data transfer unit to collect the data from the microinverters and provide it to your computer or smart phone application or iPad. It depends where do you want to see your yields. And this is the main thing is like with optimizers. This is module level, not the string level. So you see what's going on each and every panel. And we got also extra accessories like AC female connectors, extension cables, and end caps. This is a solution, a residential storage solution, which will be available in Europe probably next year. We already have it in China. The very important thing is that the microinverters are on grid. So you need the grid anyway, but also to create the whole solution, you need the hybrid inverter, and you can provide the surplus energy to the batteries and then use it later. This is also with the version with emergency power supply. So if there is something wrong with the grid, you can still, through hybrid inverter, inject the electricity to your home. So, and now, what kind of advantages do you have from using our microinverters? The first thing is that we are safer, because the DC voltage is very low, up to 60 volts. If you compare it with 200 volts of string inverters, it's created a totally different situation. So as an installers, you don't have you can't be how do you say that? Oh yeah. So, and also there is no fire risk. Second thing, we are module level monitoring. This is module level power electronics. So you see the yields, the voltage, the current, the power, even module temperature in parallel. So this is, you see each and every module. They are independent. And the third thing, that the basic warranty is 12 years. So in comparison with 5-7 years of normal string inverters, this is twice as long or even more. So higher generation. In case of shading, if you got installation based on string inverter, it will create the situation that the weakest panel, that is, for example, is shaded, crowded, or something like this, it will influence the whole string. So the rest of the panels will work they will work in a way that will try to be like this panel. When it comes to our microinverters, the PV panels are parallel, so they are independent. If something happens to one microinverter, to one PV panel, it will not influence the whole branch. When it comes to our PV when it comes to components used in our micros, we are using like manufacturers from United States, Europe. So top class components are used to build our microinverters, and this is important thing also. Normally, the string inverters, they have IP65. We have IP67, so our microinverters can work under every weather condition. Is it cold? Is it hot? Or is it raining all the time? Because they are waterproof also. And now you can ask why choose microinverters over string inverters. So I will repeat some things like a mantra. So the first is the energy production. We can produce 30% more energy with our microinverters, and it was officially tested. So that gives a reliable opinion. Also, as I told you before, if something happens to 1-2 PV panels in a branch, in microinverter branch, it will not influence the rest. Here, when something happens to the string inverter or to 2 modules, it will influence the whole string. No DC drawing arc or high voltage. This is string inverter, this is parallel. We go to the grid in parallel. The basic warranty 12 years, not 5 years. And this is important, I think, because microinverters give you opportunity and possibility to make the design, to create the design of the installation in a very flexible way. So you can put a few microinverters with a few PV panels over here. You can put it over here, you can put it over here. So you can use the full area, the full space of a roof or other places, so you will get more energy yields and more energy power, because you can use the whole space of the roof, for example, which is impossible with the string inverters, because you have only 2 MPPTs, so you can put it east-west and that's all. Monitoring. This is module level monitoring, as I told you. And I don't know if you can see it properly, but you can see other things, not only power, but you see the temperature, you see other things. And it also saves you money and it saves you time, because if there is something wrong with the installation, you see which model, for example, doesn't work properly. And why to choose it over optimizer? I think the most important part is you got two failure ratio. So if something happens to optimizer, it will influence the whole installation, and if something happens to string inverter, which is used with optimizer, it will totally shut down the installation. Now the question, why choose harmonized macro with other brands? We have the biggest range of power, of output power, because it's from 250 to 1,200. And things that are also important, surge protection is built inside. So you don't have to use any extra DC switch or surge protection boxes like it's normally used. Here you can skip it, and it also saves you money. Our failure ratio is 0.18%, so 1.8 of our units might, but they don't have to be broken for 1,000 units. Now, can you use the microinverters with all kinds of PV modules? Yes, but the voltage must be between 22 to 60, so I think they are suitable for most, even thin film models. Yes, we have our protection over voltage, software protection. Also, it must be used when between 22 and 60. The micro inverter will stop working if it's not. Can our microinverters be used in an off-grid system? No. Microinverters are only on-grid, so you can use it only with the grid. When it comes to DTU, I think I received this question a few times at Euroelectra booth. The distance between DTU, which collects the data from the microinverters and provides it to your computer, when you have wooden structure of your house, it's less than 30 meters. But when it's concrete, it has to be at least, I think, not more than 50 meters from my experience. You can't use it with the wind power projects, and this is very important. Also, rapid shutdown. So if something's going on with the grid, they will shut down rapidly, which is certified by CSE and listed. How to keep the microinverter working well under extremely cold weather conditions? You don't have to do anything specific, because the temperature range of work of our microinverters is from -40 to +60. So even in very low temperatures, they will work. So I think we can skip it. And this is a question: how many microinverters can be used? The data can be collected from how many microinverters by the DTU? So usually it's 99 panels. So it's 99 single unit microinverters, or 49 2-in-1 microinverters, or 24 4-in-1 microinverters. I think you can take a picture also and check our demo account, to which you can log in, and you can check some yields. You can check. We have 2 or 3 sample projects in China, and I think 1 European, so you can see how it works. I think that this is a thing for the technicians. Sometimes there are some problems with the grid parameters, so we can change it, or you can change it via DTU through data transfer unit. So if any problems occurs, you don't have to call us, but we will give you the login, we will give you the password, and you can do it by yourself. Yeah, and this is a thing, I don't know, have you noticed? We use in our microinverters daisy chain. So the cable is already built into the microinverters, which also saves you money, because usually the other manufacturers, they produce the bus version, and you have to buy the cable extra. So as you can see, it saves labor cost of installation and save the cost of accessories. As I told you before, we can provide you the system design. So if there are any problems you have any specific questions about the installation, where to put the microinverters and how to install it, we'll answer it. We have offices in Germany, Brazil, United States, Canada, and we provide on-site service. So hopefully here in Albania it will be done by Euroelectra. Also, every 3 months we organize customer trainings in China. These are some of our projects. Because we, as a company, we also own EPC company, which is building the installations in China. So this is one of the biggest projects, 30 megawatts. But it's not on microinverters. This is a project based on microinverters, and it was 63 residential rooftop. These are some in Philippines, United States, Cuba, Mexico. This is a 2 megawatt system, and this is based on microinverters. This is another one, 1 megawatt. This is also on MI600 microinverters. This is 1.5 megawatt, also on microinverters. As you can see, it's just right beside the water, so IP67 protection is very useful over here. This is a residential project in Poland. Exactly speaking, it's 13 kilowatts, and this is another one, a small one, like 2 kilowatts, but this one is built in South Africa, and it's more than 110 kilowatts. So as you can see, microinverters are not only suitable for the residential projects, but also for the commercial. Thank you.
Okej, faleminderit të gjithëve për çfarëdo lloj pyetje, sqarime të tjera gjithmonë prapën e Euroelektrës, dhe miru takosh në sezonet e tjera. Faleminderit.